We're live, ladies. We're live. We're live. I'm so excited. I'm going to tell you guys about my hair. Yes, I cut my hair. The girl who has colored my hair, Judy, she's colored my hair for probably the last, I don't know, 10 years, maybe. I had her cut it as well, and she did such a good job. I just needed something fresh and new and not quarantine-y. So I'm glad that you guys like it, because I really like it. It is a little bit more maintenance. Everyone's asking me how I get all of this body. If you followed me for a while, you know that my hair is naturally curly. If you've seen Ocean's hair, our hair is wild and crazy. So at the root already, I have all this natural curl. So I basically just wash it and use very minimal products. So I'll put my products in a highlight. And then I use dry shampoo at the root and then just like give it a little one of these. And there it is. Okay, but we're not talking about hair. But we are talking about self-care, beauty, what makes a difference in your life, how to feel good, little tiny tricks. Like this whole situation took me 5 minutes. I mean, you guys saw it this morning. And it makes a massive difference. It makes a difference in how I show up in the world. It makes a difference in how I show up for myself. It's a huge mental boost. And I've talked about it a lot for depression, for anxiety, for just different stuff where if you put a little bit of effort into yourself, I know it seems shallow and weird, but literally if you do your hair, if you, put on your little Flawless in 5 makeup, it makes a huge difference every time you pass a mirror or if you check your phone or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm not doing too bad. And I don't know, it makes you feel like you can kind of handle stuff more. There's plenty of times where I spend the days in my pajamas with my kids, but those days are very different how I show up and how I feel than if I like throw on a cute top, put on some earrings and do a little bit of a situation. Anyway, but we're not talking about me. I want to get Michelle on here. Okay, hi everybody. Hi. Yes, I can share my lip color. Oh, guten Morgen, Caro Hack. Oh, you're a stylist. What do you think? Hi, everybody. Hi, Mindful Approach to Motion. You're watching. Are the kids still watching Blippi? Oh, I love it. My little. Hi. Okay. Michelle, if you're on here, would you join us so that we can talk to people about your story and Beautycounter and business and women and how everyone's juggling everything? Like, I'm in here, my husband's taking care of the kids, and 2020 is just insane. How often do I color my hair? Oh, hold on. Here's Michelle. Let me get all these flyaways taking control. These flyaways. Hi!
I'm over here like trying to volumize my hair. And...
Girl, dig in at the root.
Oh, I have this like stick straight hair, so we'll just give it a little zoom. There we go. I got to channel my inner Angie.
Oh, no, you don't. You have it all going on. You don't need to channel anybody but yourself. I'm so excited. Do you remember were you my first live? You were like one of my first lives a year ago.
I think so, because you were like, I don't know why you were, but you were nervous. And here I'm sitting here nervous. I had to do like a 10-minute meditation, and I poured myself some peppermint tea to kind of just like channel my energy. But I think you're right. It was a couple years ago, or maybe like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I think it was literally just a year ago, and it was one of my first lives, and I was so excited. And I'm even more excited now because I feel like, you and I have had more of a relationship. Yeah. And I think now is the craziest time ever to talk about everything that we're going to talk about, because it's affecting everybody.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
such a personal level. Like you can't get
Yes.
away from everyone being affected by what's going on. So every single
Yeah.
thing from depression to financial, everyone having a financial hit or struggle, you know, personally, everything that we're dealing with, especially, you know, I'm going to focus in on the women, obviously, because I'm a woman. But everything that's going on. I mean, you forwarded me those articles. I posted them before this, about 1 in 4 women and just the amount of financial decisions that I feel like women are making more than men because it's hitting women a lot more than men. Can you talk a little bit more about those statistics before we go into your story?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I just want to thank you for having me on. And I think back to, you know, when you and I first met and you answered an email from a stranger, and here we are, business partners turned friends, albeit virtually. I do have faith that someday we will meet in the flesh and I will be able to give you a gigantic hug.
100%. Yeah, I want to talk about how we met when we talk about the business side of it, how we met and how that all went down. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So I think our conversation today is very timely. I was part of a conversation with Greg Renfrew, who is Beautycounter CEO, on Monday, and she brought up the women in the workplace and the impact of the coronavirus on women. And so that's when I had sent you those articles, and it was a report that came out a couple weeks ago looking at September, and 865,000 women left the workplace compared to 216,000 men.
And this is in the United States, right?
In the United States,
okay.
Yes. And then there was a study that came out that you referenced, where 1 in 4 women are considering downshifting their career. And I know for me, throughout this past year, I've had many conversations with friends that have left very successful careers, in some cases where they're earning more than their partners, because they have to stay home to be caregivers and teachers and do all of the things and wear all the hats. And so I just think that this conversation that we had planned prior, like a couple weeks ago, is just very timely. And we'll get into what the Beautycounter business opportunity is and just answer some frequently asked questions. But those statistics were really, they hit me because we're asked to do a lot of things as women, right? And make some sacrifices.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, I'm just going to preface this, but I don't want this at all to be a gender thing. I don't, you know, there's a lot of sensitivities happening around the world. Everyone's extremely heightened and extremely sensitive. Please just know my heart and know Michelle's heart and know that this is not about talking about anything with gender or sex or race or anything like that. It literally is a human discussion that we're having right now. And in my experience, my human experience in a female body, I'm not going to be weird about it, but I'm just saying, is I multitask a lot more than Arland, which, if there's a silver lining to it, I'm able to create multiple streams of income, maybe easier. I don't even know if that's the word, but along with multitasking comes the availability for multiple streams of income. And that's what I love about Beautycounter, especially, is there's so many different opportunities. And it's very, very organic to be able to share something that you're so passionate about, and make it, you know, an income opportunity while you're at home. Because you are working on your business, but then your business is also working for you. And it's that residual income, you know, plus a multi-level community. I mean, everything is so incredible about the business side of it, but also the personal side of it. And, you know, for women, like you were saying, over 800,000 women are making this decision to stay at home or to leave the workforce, which typically means like an office setting or whatever. But now you still have an opportunity to do something financially gaining, but also community building and environmentally, doing that from home, where you don't have to make that choice of going somewhere to work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you that flexibility. And the business looks different for everyone, right? You know, I mean, you fit it into the pockets of your day when you can. Look at how many, you know, balls you have up in the air right now and all the things that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks very different for me compared to you. My story going into this is totally different than you, which I love because we're teammates, but we have different stories.
Yep.
So I want to introduce your story to my audience. I know a lot of my audience follows you because I tag you all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
but they might not know, your backstory of who
yeah,
you are, and then what brought you to the decision, your wild decision to
yeah.
leave before COVID. I mean, this wasn't a COVID decision for you.
No.
This was years ago. And
Yep.
so tell us a little bit about your story and why you started Beautycounter.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to give you the abridged version. So
Yeah,
to respect everyone's time and not be here all day.
yeah.
So my background, I was a marketing finance major from Wisconsin. You might be able to pick up my accent as we go through this live here. But I spent a decade in medical device sales. And in 2014, I was admitted to the hospital with bilateral blood clots in my lungs that were forming in my pulmonary artery. And it started with a massive DVT after a triathlon in June of that year. It got dislodged, went to my lungs. I ignored it, ignored my body. Anyone out there, we're stubborn.
As triathletes tend to do.
I'm like, nothing is wrong. I'm okay. Got
Power
misdiagnosed.
through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've learned a lot about listening to my body and treating it with respect. And I got misdiagnosed several times. It wasn't until the end of October I was admitted and had several healthcare professionals, doctors, tell me that I was essentially a ticking time bomb. I was very lucky to be alive. And whenever you're presented with that conversation, it just, for me anyway, changed the lens through which I saw life. And it made me reevaluate how I wanted to spend my time, the impact I wanted to have, who I wanted to spend my time with. And so I took a while to like just peel back the layers and really figure out what it was that I wanted. And, as far as a career goes, I was like, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so what I started to do was like reverse engineer, like looking at the ideal life that I wanted to live. I love mountain biking, backcountry skiing. Unfortunately, my dad has Parkinson's, and as our parents age, I just knew it was important for me to have the flexibility to be able to spend the time with the people I love and not have 3 weeks vacation to go home. And just, so I started looking at all
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very important to me. And so
Yeah.
I started with the end in mind and I kind of reverse engineered it. And then the universe always has our back. I was presented with the Beautycounter opportunity and knew nothing about it. I was always very cognizant of nutrition and fitness, but I never really paid attention to the chemicals, not only in our personal care products, but I wasn't even really paying attention to cleaning supplies. And this was about 7 years ago. I've learned a lot. And so I got curious. I looked into the brand. I looked at who the CEO was. What was her history? What was this company all about? And I joined. I'm the type of person that's either all in or all out. So I joined, not knowing much, kind of just blindly joined. And then it wasn't until 6 months where I was like, this is literally everything that I dreamt of. Like it fulfilled everything, right? It gave me location independence. It checked all the boxes. Location independence, time freedom, what you talked about is passive income. And it's been such a gift. And, I know it's not for everyone, but I would just challenge people today as we have this discussion to get curious yourself and ask the questions and do your own research and try to set aside preconceived notions. Because had I not done that, I would have just ignored the opportunity. And looking at what my life, I bought a van, we're getting an Airstream. Like there's all these things that now I like look back and I think of how different the trajectory of my life would be had I not said yes to exploring it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, to being open to even just starting.
Yeah. And now I do it full time. So I left my career. That was about 6 years ago. I do Beautycounter full time. And it's just been such I know it sounds so cliche, but it's been such a blessing in my life for so many reasons. Right here today is one of them, is the people that it brought into my life.
Yeah, I know it. Like I was saying before, it's hard not to sound cliche or cheesy, because
Totally.
even this whole thing of doing a lot, it's so unreal and it's so bizarre, this world. But I really do want it to be like two friends just chatting, because that's how I got introduced to it. Yep. My best friend literally was yeah, it's so funny because you always talk to your friends. I'll go to my best friend before I will a doctor.
Mhm.
Because I literally am like, especially nowadays, it's more of, I want to see results and I want to see it from a real person,
Yep.
like from someone that I trust, from my
Yep.
best friend. So I was in her bathroom. I don't know. We were doing something that best friends do. She was, picking out her stuff. And then I was like, oh, what's this? And it was the resurfacing peel. And she's like, oh my God, you don't know about this? She's like, it's Beautycounter. This was what, 5 years ago, maybe? And she's like, it's Beautycounter. So it wasn't in this bottle. It's the most amazing thing I put on my skin. And she was like showing me her skin. And this is, best friends. We're, covered in vomit from our kids. Just like, this is not a QVC ad. This is like, no, you have to try this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So I bought it. And then that's where I heard Beautycounter first. Mm-hmm. And then cut to, I don't even know how you emailed me. Like, I forget all of this because I was in a very foggy post-mom dying, pregnant whole situation. So I don't even remember.
I just had followed you, and I'm the type of person that
Right.
I want to be surrounded by people that are vibrant and uplifting, and I just emailed you on a whim, and I was just like, hey, my name's
Through
Michelle.
Instagram.
Through Instagram.
Yeah.
And then, a few emails and a few conversations later. But it was just like, I want to be her friend. She looks awesome.
Well, so I do remember that it was a while.
Yes.
I remember your first email, and I remember probably not even emailing you back because I was just like overwhelmed, and a new business opportunity. I was like, no, I can't deal.
Yeah.
And then it was another email and another email, not annoying at all, but it was literally almost like a, oh, remember this?
Yes. No one's ever accused me of not being persistent. So,
but I mean, I have to be honest, salespeople, which is what Beautycounter is, if you're making it a business, it does have an old school bad rap of being annoying or being, too persistent. Mm-hmm. And so what I want to differentiate with your emails is the love that you shared, the kindness that you shared. And it wasn't like, hey, join my team, join my team. It was literally, I mean, I wish I would have brought up the emails, but it was love, it was kindness, it was opportunity. And that's what kept on bringing me back. And then I think my next email was, hey, I'm super interested. It's just not the right season for me. I was literally like pregnant again and had a 1-year-old or whatever. So it wasn't the right season, but it was a seed that was planted. And because I heard it organically from my best friend, and then through you, the seed was planted. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Actually now I have a 1-year-old. I just had a newborn. And I'm always thinking of like, what's a business opportunity that I can create? And so then I emailed you back and was like, hey, can we jump on a quick phone call? And it was these little things that then led to another phone call. And then I started buying products. And then because I love the products, I was buying more products. And you were like, so, if you're buying this already, because I then got educated on what was in my makeup bag literally for the last 9 years, or 10 years, where I was taking out like a Revlon blush from grade 9. And I still had like the little leftover pink in the corner. And I was like, I just love this stuff. And so I did a full rehaul of my makeup first because I was wearing makeup even before I was doing like a skincare, my grown-ass skincare regime, which I call it. So I was doing the makeup anyway, buying all the makeup. And then you were like, okay, well, if you become a Band of Beauty member, which is like a Costco membership, it just makes sense to become a member because you get all the money, or you get the money back that you're paying for your membership, but you're getting discounts because I'm buying this makeup anyway. Love the makeup. So I kept on buying the makeup. And then it was just from there that I started doing the skincare regime because I noticed when I turned 40, after 3 kids, I was like,
what's happening? What's happening here?
What's going on here? Why is this doing this and this doing this? And then that's when I started using the counter time, which it's all in my highlights.
Yeah.
And again, just for myself, noticing the massive difference that it was making and the money that I was saving. So before I even started my business, I was just loving the products. I was getting the discounts for me. And then how I started my business was literally just like Erin, my best friend. I was just sharing it with people, you know, my circle that was asking me what I'm doing with my skin, or, you know, what I'm doing with this. And that's how it started, because I was excited about what it was doing for me, and excited to share, as you typically do as women, are like, hey, try this, hey, try that. And then that's how it started. And then obviously sharing it on Instagram, which is an extension of my family, an extension of my friendships. It's just like, hey, what works for me? If you want to try it, if it's in your season, and if you're like interested in it, here's the details, here's the information. And then that's how I do my business. I know you do it full time, but that for me is just like this organic
No,
sharing.
that's just what it is, though. That's like, you know, people, I think often when they're contemplating starting a business, like, well, I'm not a salesperson. And I just want to make it clear, like, we're all salespeople. Like, you're selling your best friend on a product, or you're selling your kids on going to bed earlier, or your husband on cleaning up his dishes. Like, there's this, like, we're constantly selling ideas. And at the end of the day, sales is often just, you know, finding a solution to someone's problem. And so if you're listening and you're thinking, well, I can't do this, I don't have sales. It literally is what Angie's talking about, sharing with friends. And we'll get into a little bit of why Greg just, you know, decided to do a direct selling model. Because I think this conversation is exactly why. It's people just, you know, shoulder to shoulder, having conversations, sharing why they made the switch to safer and why they love their products. That's what it is. It's just, you know.
Yeah. So talk a little bit more, because you have a lot more education on this around the safety of it. Because again, you were the one that introduced me to the crazy toxicity and the crazy thing that I never thought about as a model for 20 years. And as a health professional, I never thought of something as simple, if you want to call it that. I never thought of it actually going into your skin being your largest organ. And, you know, we think about cigarettes being toxic because you're inhaling it and the whole thing, but I don't think about like a beauty cream being toxic, because I never thought of looking at the ingredients and all that. Like, can you talk a little bit about how toxic the industry is and how there hasn't been any checks on it?
Absolutely. And I think we've all been in that boat. Like, I didn't know any better 6 years ago until I, you know, when you know better, you do better. And that's why we're having this conversation today too, because if you had never heard of Beautycounter, or you had no idea, you know, that there were toxic chemicals in your products, well, here you go. We're going to give you a little bit of truth behind it. So it's a dangerously unregulated industry. It's an $80 billion industry. When you look at the beauty industry, it's massive. And the last time that, I back up a little bit, it's primarily self-governed. So the industry essentially governs itself. And the last time there's been a federal law passed regulating the personal care beauty industry was 1938. So we're like way behind the times. And so companies are legally allowed to use chemicals in products that are harmful to human health. There has been plenty of research done linking these chemicals to, you know, the impact on human health. And what's always been super fascinating to me, and I think I first heard of this in the food industry in Europe versus the United States, right? Like, you could have a European company produce the same product that's marketed in Europe and same marketing and sold in the United States, and it can be completely different ingredients. And it's really eye-opening and disturbing. So, you know, insert Beautycounter. This was, Greg started Beautycounter, 13 years ago. And the whole, and as women, we want to feel beautiful, right? We want to use products that are aspirational and on trend. And so Greg thought, when this was all just an idea, why can't we have high performing products that are also safe and effective? And so that's really where the marriage, mailman. We have, this house is built in the 1960s, and we still have a mail slot where they slide the mail through like the door. So that was the mailman. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, so that's really where
products that are clean but also on trend.
Yeah, well, and that are safe and effective. So why can't we have both? And up until Beautycounter, we've really led the way for clean beauty, and we love seeing other companies follow suit. Like I know you've talked about Dime Beauty. Beautycounter is not the only player. Like the goal is to shift the entire industry, and by consumer demand, these companies are coming out and they're getting, you know, they're doing more ingredient screening and heavy metal testing. And the one thing I do love about Beautycounter, I really can get behind, because I'm very passionate about the environment, is that we're a B corporation. So everything we do is people, planet, profit. And one of the things in the last year and a half was how we source our ingredients. So mica is, you know, if you do a quick Google search, you'll find plenty of news stories on how mica is sourced, and young kids in these mines at the, you know, age of 4 mining for mica. And so it was really important for us to visit all of our sites, right, and know where we're getting our ingredients from. So that was a big thing. But yeah, of course. I mean, and if your audience, Angie, wants more information on the details of the ingredient selection process and how we source and all of our testing, we are 100% transparent. And so if people have questions, please just let me know and I can get you all of the information.
Yeah, after this, I'm going to do a swipe up link, obviously, for people who want to learn more about the business. If they want to learn more about the ingredients, I'll do a swipe up, you know, so that you guys can learn everything about it. And I've talked, I think, about that as well. But I really want to talk to the women who are either who have lost their jobs, who are looking for a new opportunity, who really are like, okay, what's the first step, and how do I build this business? Like, how do I actually do Beautycounter as a business? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, and before I jump into that, I just because you know the topic of our whole conversation was, is Beautycounter right for you? And I know this is, you know, super broad when I say it's for everyone and anyone, men, women, young, old. There are a few parameters. You do have to be 18 years of age or older. And we have this phenomenal Gen Z community that's been building over the last couple of years. It's amazing, but you do have to be 18. And then you have to be a US or Canadian citizen. So
interesting. Okay. So citizen, you can live abroad, but you have to be a citizen?
Yes. Yep. Correct. Yep. And we do have consultants on our team that live abroad but have the citizenship, US or Canadian citizenship.
Okay.
Just to put that out there.
But no, I have a lot of people watching from
Canada. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, and from everywhere across the globe.
Yeah. But a lot of
Yeah.
International growth.
Yes, I love it. I'm in Montana.
Yay!
So what does it look like to get started? And Angie, like she said, there's a couple slides that she'll do a swipe up to join. The enrollment process is very straightforward. And then I want to talk a little bit about the support and the resources, because someone will be joining our team, but I will likely be doing a lot of the mentorship and coaching because of the season of life here. And I mean, you've got several kids and several things going on. And so
I don't mean to interrupt, but this is what I love too, because I was going to mention the swipe up links that I will be providing are provided by you. Yeah. So you sent me all of the information, you sent me the story, and you sent me the swipe up link. So I'm just going to put it on. And that's what I love about this teamwork, is that even if you're a mom at home and you're overwhelmed and you're doing all the things like me, it's not you starting your own business. It literally is this tiered effect of you have people above you and you have people below you. And it's literally this community of women who want to help and want to see you succeed. Because every time I text you and I'm like, Michelle, I have someone asking you about this, you're like, send them my way.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, hey, can you quickly give me a slide for this? I can't do it. I literally am in between poopy diapers and the thing. And you're like, I got it, girl. I'll send you the slide and then I can do it. So it's literally, and every time I'm like, how do I pay you? You're like, well, we're doing this together. Like if you do well, I do well. And the first time you said that, if you do well, I do well, I literally cried because I did, because I've been in an industry, in the modeling industry, for 20 years where it's not women supporting women.
Yeah.
And not even in the modeling industry, but unfortunately in the female industry of life.
Yeah.
There's not, I know we all say it, and I know it's like this whole tag, this hashtag of women supporting women, but you just don't see it a lot in action because there's so much insecurity and there's so much competition. And it's like, if you do well, it's taking away from me. But Beautycounter is the opposite. It's literally, if you do well, I do well. How can I support you? How can we do this together?
Yep.
And I love that.
What's that quote? Rising tide lifts all ships, something like that.
Ooh.
There's something, I might have gotten it wrong, but there's something like that. But it's true.
No,
like,
I love that.
I think in the community, and one of the things that lights me up the most is just inspiring women to get out of their comfort zone, right? Like a lot of you out there might be thinking like, this is scary to try something new, to start a business. And I just think about those moments where you overcame an obstacle, you tried something new for the first time, how alive you felt. Like I can relate it to mountain biking. Like the first time I got on a mountain bike, I'm like, it was so scary and, you know, but so exhilarating. And starting a business, there's so many fears. We create these stories in our head of all the reasons why it might not work out. But what I love seeing is women overcoming those fears and then just like taking goals and just blowing them out of the water. I've had two women quit their careers. One woman was a nanny of you know, children for 26 years where she couldn't even spend time with her own children. She was nannying for another family. She was able to leave that full time and now build a business that allows her to spend time with her own baby. And so I think the community is huge. And I think we need that. I always say, you know, we're working alone, but together. Like I'm in my living room, Angie's at her house. We're working alone, but we're together. And you will always have community, which we all need. And so, and not just beauty.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, absolutely. And these women become friends and they become resources. And when you're just, it becomes so much more like life coaching than it is like a Beautycounter business. But so getting back to kind of what that looks like, after you enroll, you'll get an email from me with Angie CC'd, and we start from there, learning your goals. How much time do you have? What does this look like for you? Is this just, you know, are you a hobbyist and you want to earn a couple $100 extra for the holidays so you can buy gifts? Is this something where you want to replace your corporate income that you had to leave? Like there are goals of all shapes and sizes, people of all backgrounds. And I truly want to get to know you or whoever's joining, right? And what they want out of this business. And then from there,
I remember my goal. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting again. I'm so excited about this. I remember my goal was getting my makeup for free. Remember I told you that I was like, listen, I buy makeup and makeup is expensive. Yeah. I buy makeup and I buy skincare. And if I can cover that cost and actually get this for free, that's amazing. Like that was my initial goal. Now I'm making a lot more, which is super exciting, but that was my initial goal. And I love starting from there and then building. So it's not super overwhelming.
Yeah. I love the women like you who say, I'm just joining for the discount. I'm like, cool, join for the discount. Awesome. That's great. And now they've built these like huge businesses. I'm like, do you remember you told me 2 years ago that this was just for the discount? Yeah. And now look at you go. So I love those stories. Yeah. Totally. And that's the beauty of this business is that ebbs and flows with whatever season of life you're in, right? Like right now might just be a time that you join and you dabble. And then maybe once your kids are back to school, it's game on. So there's no one dictating at what pace you build this business. It is truly up to you. And I always talk about like power pockets. Like what are the power pockets of your day when kids are napping or you wake up and you have that 30 minutes of quiet time before you know, the chaos starts, and it's, you know, building your business in some of those pockets of your day. So, I
didn't want to interrupt you and I didn't, and now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, when you were talking about feeling overwhelmed or feeling fearful of starting a new thing, what I love, and I'm just speaking in the season of being a mother, what I love is, you know, we tend to give up our lives as mothers. We tend to focus everything on the kids, and then self-care is like this thing that we kind of do at the end of the night and like take a bath or whatever. But the more kids you have, the less time you have for yourself. Yeah. But what I love about even stepping into this business and feeling overwhelmed or feeling scared, it's like all day long, all I teach my kids is to do something and I build them up, and I'm like, no, you can do it. Like 50 million times a day, Alakai's like, I can't do it. If it's opening a jar or putting a toy into a thing, oh, I can't do it. And I'm like, baby, yes, you can do it. You're strong. You're brave. You can do it. And that's all I'm saying all day long.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to say it, but I feel like, you know, I'm in this tiny little barn over here while Arlen's taking care of the kids. And if the kids are asking, where's mommy? Arlen is saying, oh, she's working. Like she's on a business call.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're hearing it, but then they're also seeing it from me that I'm building a business, or I'm helping other people build a business, which is also just
they see mama working and mama, yeah.
But it instills confidence in myself that I can be a mother and I can do this business. And I can also help other women build a business. So it's like this whole showing your kids that they can do it because you're doing it. And I think I had too much coffee, but I'm really...
I'm on 2.5 weeks of this cleanse and I can't have coffee. So I'm getting like, I'm doing the Organifi red juice in the morning. I'm drinking my tea.
How good do you feel?
What's that?
How good do you feel?
I feel great. No, I feel great. And I do miss the ritual of coffee. Like I like making it in the morning and having it. But I will say I didn't really
But you know that Keon has decaf.
That's true. I should try that.
So you can still enjoy the ritual without the caffeine.
I love this. I do have to try it. I've never tried the coffee.
That was a commercial break.
That was a plug. I love it. I do want to address a couple of things because when you and I were talking about what do we want, to cover on the call, I thought about some of the frequently asked questions that I get often.
Yeah.
And I think we addressed a few of them. One being the time commitment. I think that is just entirely up to you and what your life looks like right now. The other thing is why the direct selling model, and we touched on it, and I just want to elaborate a little bit because I think that
the direct selling used to be called multi-level business, MLM, right?
I think it has
or multi-level marketing, but
yeah, and then people kind of interchange MLM and direct selling. The reason we call ourselves like a direct selling brand is because it's not just independent consultants. Independent consultants like you and I are 95% of the business. We also have strategic partnerships. So we've done work with Goop, with Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop. And we also have retail locations. So we have a store in LA, we have a store in Denver, we have a store in New York. And so we're really trying to reinvent or like turn the old direct selling model on its head. And there's a reason we chose this model, right? When I talked about the lack of regulation in the industry and when Greg decided she wanted to tackle this 13 years ago, can you imagine like what an undertaking that is? And so if you look back in history, any like significant social change happens with a group of passionate people that link arms and like use their voice, right? And so she could have created these products to sit on a shelf. Like Greg is a very well-connected woman. She could have had it on the shelves at Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom. But the story is best told person to person, much like you just said, Angie, when your friend told you. And so to create a movement and to create significant change and to shift an $80 billion industry, it's using our voices. It's spreading the message and linking arms. And that's why as an independent consultant, a big reason of what I do is the more people, the louder we get. And so that's why Greg chose that business model. So I do get that a lot because I think people get kind of caught up on the old, like, what does that mean? Oh, it's a pyramid scheme, or it's a get rich quick, or, all of insert whatever preconceived notion you have. Yeah. And then the other thing I was just going to address is the startup cost. And this is included in those slides that I sent you with the swipe up. The only fee to get started is there's two options. There's a $50 enrollment fee, which is a digital enrollment fee. You'll not receive anything tangible. It's all online. And then there's a $98 option that you get 2 free products and then like a welcome kit. So either option, whichever is, financially feasible. And then you do have the option of purchasing starter sets at a really deep discount. So if you're already using the products and you love the products, or you're going to buy them for yourself anyway, it's a great time to take advantage. It's not required, but that will be in the information that people can swipe up and look at. And if anyone wants to, I'll put this out there. I might regret it later, but I am always happy to jump on a phone call with anyone to discuss, like, is this right for you? Because I know I had to like talk through it, and I'll put it out there that if you're serious about doing this, I will 100% jump on a phone call.
That's incredibly generous of you. Thank you. Yeah, because it's obviously such interesting times that we live in, and I hate saying that because it's so cliche, but it is just wacky. Like everyone is on their head and no one knows what day it is. And so if you are serious, and if this is something that you're like, no, I really am serious, but I feel bad because I do have a lot more questions or whatever, then I'll obviously tag Michelle. And
I want everyone to feel so confident. If you're starting a business, I want you to go into it with excitement and like, heck yes, like, let's do this. I want to get all your questions answered and have you be so confident in making that decision.
Yeah. Okay, well, I turned off the comments, but I think I'm going to turn them back on again.
Let's see if anyone has questions.
If anyone has questions.
I didn't know you could turn off comments. That's good to know.
I know. I'm getting more into like this whole technology thing, but it's always changing because I just did an update, and so now live is changing because the squares are a lot smaller, so I don't know if people are like seeing me or not. So everything's changing constantly. But I think I just turned the comments back on if anyone wants to ask me or Michelle a question. I'm so excited for this.
Looks like someone's been toying for the idea for a while. Jump off the fence, you can do it.
Yeah. What is Michelle's last name? What's your last name?
Well, it's technically Clark because I just got married, but it's Waller.
Yes, I know.
Waller, Waller, the ambitious blonde on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll obviously tag you when we're off of this. I'll tag you again. Someone said,
oh, I don't know.
How did you and your husband connect? Arlen, make a snack for the kids.
Did he ask you that?
Godsend. I would not be alive if it wasn't for my husband. You know that, Arlen.
I can't wait to meet him someday too. Someone just asked if there's monthly targets sales quota. So there are no monthly targets. There is a 6-month activity requirement. It's a $1,200 activity requirement that includes your own personal purchases and any sales to friends and family. So roughly $200 a month. If you don't meet that, nothing happens. You're not penalized. You don't have to pay anything back.
No one shows up at your door.
Yeah. I'm not going to come knocking. Angie's not going to come knocking. But you will essentially become a Band of Beauty member and enjoy all the perks of the Band of Beauty membership. So if you go into it and you just don't meet it or life happens, like, no worries, like nothing happens. But that's the 6-month quota or activity requirement.
Okay. I know you said citizen, but can you join as a Canadian permanent resident?
Well, I think it all has to do with taxes. So it it's all linked to your like Social Security so I don't know how that would work if I would think you'd have to be a citizen, not just residency.
But if you're a permanent resident, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I have a green
Canadian.
card. I'm Canadian citizen, permanent resident in the U.S. So I have a Social Security number, do all my taxes here, obviously everything. So I think permanent resident is the same tax-wise. I just can't vote.
Oh, so then maybe I can look into that and get back to whoever asks that question.
Leslie, if you want to contact Michelle directly, like in a DM, then she can look up that question for you because that's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm totally in. This is such a great time to join. Yes. The holiday sets that I'm seeing. I haven't got around to buying my holiday sets yet.
Oh, you're going to love. There's one that has, I think there's 2 you're going to love. Actually, you probably love them all. But there's one that has a zinc alloy roller that comes with the Counter Time tripeptide serum. And it's this really cool, like,
what?
It's awesome. And then the other one I think you're going to love is a dry brush with a dry oil and a lemongrass body polish.
See, I don't know any of this. I don't know any of this. I remember last year where there was like a glow that was only at Christmas. There was a glow that you put on with the serum that I'm going to get again.
Yeah.
But I haven't got any of the holiday stuff yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get
There's
all
some
that
good
and then
stuff.
I'll show. But yeah, for gifts, you know, like what I love for gifts too is I'm going to do a mindful gift guide again this year, and I'll include some Beautycounter products because I think gifts are so important, especially in during this time. If you are financially able to give gifts, there was many years where I wasn't able to even give gifts, but if you are, then giving gifts of wellness and giving gifts that are like contributing to your health and to longevity
self-love,
and
right? And
self-love,
just like,
self-care. Like I think it's great for giving gifts as well.
yeah.
Oh, thank you, Lori. Through my own anxiety, I'm helping other people with their anxiety.
Erica asked, I didn't mention this, so you don't have to buy a kit, and you can also do a la carte. So when you're enrolling, you'll see the different options for the starter sets. The starter sets are between 40 and 44% discount. When you buy a la carte, always, you get 25% off as a consultant. So you'll always get that discount no matter what. But the only time you get that really deep discount is when you first enroll. So, but if it's not financially feasible, the other cool thing we just launched is Klarna, which is an installment payment system with no interest. So you can break up your payment, whether you're a client or you're a consultant. On that initial order, you can break that up into 4 payments. So with no interest.
Oh, amazing. So I didn't know that option either.
It just started like a few months ago. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably get on a phone call with you.
I'll send you an email with all the
figure out all this new stuff too. Oh my goodness.
No. Oh, good. You've been RVing, which I love your RV adventures. That's so fun. Yeah, so our latest plan, Angie, as questions are coming in, is this is my husband's idea. He wants to buy a vintage Airstream and renovate it and live in the driveway while we renovate our house. Yeah. So that's the latest. So stay tuned. Know
people that have done that. That's a great option. I think that's a great option.
We'll see.
I think we're just going to bite the bullet and we're going to leave here and buy an RV.
Yeah.
I think that's our next.
Yeah, you're mobile. It's like a turtle. You just like with the van, you know, you just go anywhere. It's like you have your home on your back. You park it and you're good. And you can go anywhere in the country. I
mean, it's again, a silver lining of this time because we can all do stuff almost like a bucket list where we're like, well, everything's gone to pot anyway. Might as well do this. Might as well try that. And the cool thing about doing something like this, having a multiple stream income, you know, you can do different stuff and do this on the side or full time, have everything, all the access is on your phone, your people, you know, you can FaceTime. Oh, actually, what I was going to mention too is I did get an email from someone who I've never met, which is always hit or miss. But they joined under me because I think someone else asked, how do I join under Angie?
Yes.
The link will be to join under me because I'm under you.
And it's under your Fletcher. It's under Angela Fletcher. So when people are searching, it's not Angie Green, it's Angela Fletcher.
It's Angela Fletcher. So I'll do a link to that. But this lady was really upset because she joined under me thinking that she would be a part of my team and that there would be a lot more interaction with me. And as you mentioned before, I'm not in a season of having a lot of time to be able to interact. So the time that I do take, I spend on Instagram for educating, you know, for interacting, for doing lives like this. But I have 3 children and we don't have any help. I don't have a nanny. We don't have a housekeeper. We don't have anybody. Like this is, I'm choosing to raise my family in this way, but also with free time that I have doing this. So what I want to say to people who are wanting to have more interaction with me, like on this Beautycounter team, because I know that that's important, but I haven't been in a season for the last year to dedicate more time to this business. But what I want to say here and to you is that I want to be doing more for this. So if you're joining my team or me and Michelle's team, then I want to be on phone calls. I want to be doing, whether it's monthly or bi-monthly or whatever, like I want to be a part of that, even just as a FaceTime opportunity, because I love this community so much. And I think that just having that, you know, building into that and kind of hearing how everyone's doing and how because it's really sad that I'm just hearing about these new things from you now, and
Yeah.
and didn't know about it. I mean, is sad is maybe the wrong word. Again, I do honor the season that I'm in,
Yeah.
but I am going to be a lot more a part of what's going on with my team / your team.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do like,
together.
you know, once a month, even 30 minutes getting on a Zoom just to like see each other's faces and just chat and catch up and of course talk business. But I think that's a great idea, Angie. I love that.
Yeah. So I'm committing to that for whoever wants to join my team. We'll definitely have a lot more interaction. There's some questions that I'm not going to answer just because it's not relevant to right now. And I want to make sure that this is kind of more, you know, honoring your time as well. Michelle, do you see any questions that you want to answer?
I just saw someone ask percentage sales. So from a commission standpoint, it's anywhere between 25 and 35% commission. And it's a little bit more detailed than that because once you start building a team, there's different earning potential. There's basically like 3 parts of our compensation structure, which again, if you're interested, I'm happy to send you our like kind of 1-page breakdown of how am I going to make money? Because that's important. When you go into any job, you're like, what's the salary? How do I make money? Like that's a really smart question. And I'm happy to provide you guys with that information. But in general, 25 to 35%.
Okay. Payment plans make it more realistic. Yeah. So that just became available a few months ago, you were saying?
Yeah. For clients or when you're first enrolling as a consultant, you can use Klarna. And I actually think you can do it at any time as a consultant.
Okay. Can I buy Beautycounter products in Germany?
Not yet. But I will tell you guys, the Greg's big picture goal over the next 3 years is to become the world's most admired and trusted beauty brand. And so I don't know the inside scoop. I don't know what our plans are for global expansion. I just know that Greg's a big thinker and that this is not going to be just limited to the United States and Canada.
Yeah, I know. I get asked that all the time. And I've actually, for people who have direct messaged me, and I don't want to put this out there, but I have gotten product and I've sent them.
Yes, I've
sent them product as well.
Yeah. We keep getting what lip gloss we're wearing. I'm wearing one from the holiday collection. It's my absolute favorite. It's the most beautiful color. It's called Lilac, something lilac, wild lilac. It's part of the 3 gloss trio. I don't know what you're wearing, but maybe you're like whatever was on my counter.
No, I don't wear lip gloss. I don't know. I'm not wearing anything. It's probably just
Angie's natural.
The light from the side. Eric is asking how I join under Michelle. How do they join under you?
Michelle Waller is my name on the website.
Perfect.
It'll give you the option to select your mentor. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need to be a U.S. citizen? We already covered that. I joined and I have a green card. I'm a U.S. green card.
Oh, someone said that?
Yeah, they just said, do you need to, well, someone just said, they keep on getting disconnected. Do they need to be a U.S. citizen or resident? I'm only a resident, but I have a green card. I have a green card. I joined. So you're all good.
Good. And are you recording this, Angie? Will this be available for people to watch? I know for 24 hours they can get the playback.
Yes, I will put this on, but then I'm also going to record it and I'm going to have it on my YouTube channel, which is on my website, which is where all of my resources are. So yes, I will record this. And then you can watch it for a fee of $25. Just kidding.
I was like
free. Everything's for free. This live is for free. All of this information is for free.
Everything I put out there is for free.
What I think is so funny when people get annoyed at influencers, which is apparently what I am right now. But every single person is an influencer. If you have an Instagram account, you are an influencer, because 100%. An influencer means that someone is watching you, is being influenced by what you're doing or what you're saying, and they are gaining information or gaining benefits from that.
Yes.
And I think it's so funny that influencers are getting a bad rap, because I'm like, well, what I did for 20 years is I modeled, so my face and body was selling something that was completely inauthentic. I never wore any of the clothes that I was modeling for. They were all pinned up on the back and like, you know, yanked and all this crazy stuff. But no one really gets mad at models. But yet now influencers are like, how dare you? How dare you try and sell me something? Where I'm here going, well, I'm going to be asked about this sweater. It's MF People. It's not available anymore because their business shut down because of COVID. I'm going to be asked, you know what I mean? Like everyone, that's what's so great about being online. There's obviously always a good and bad to everything.
Yeah.
The bad part is, you know, I've talked a lot about the bad parts, social dilemma, like all that stuff, but there's an amazing part of it. And that's that you and I can have this conversation, connection. We can connect with everyone here who wants to be a part of the team or who wants to learn more. All of this information is free. Like you and I are taking our time and our energy and all of our love and our capacity to share for free. So all of this you're getting for free. And if it's something that you're excited about or being influenced by or just like interested in, then you can take the next steps. But it's like, it's such an exciting opportunity to be able to be an influencer just by being a human being and having a platform, whether
in your
it's
own community, right? Like
millions of people or 3 people, or it's just your community and you're FaceTiming with your neighbor or whatever. Like it's just, the opportunities are endless and it's authentic and it's organic and it's just you being you and sharing in whatever season you're in. It's so exciting.
Yeah. You know, when I started this business, I wasn't even on Instagram. Like people like, do you need to be on Instagram? Like I wasn't even, I think I maybe, and then when I joined for the first couple years, I had like a couple hundred, you know, my friends that were obligated to follow me. And, but I get that a lot because I think that often people coming into these businesses, you know, see people with a larger platform and they're like, well, is this possible for me? And it's absolutely possible for you. We have to get out of this comparison game. Like everyone's journey is so unique to you. Like don't compare your journey to Angie's or mine or whoever. Like, and I think that's the problem sometimes with
you get crippled by comparison.
You get crippled and you get in your own way. And it's just like, keep your head down, stay in your lane, focus on you and the people around you, and you're golden. Like, golden.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's where it's such a beautiful tiered effect too or a ripple effect is because if you have a smaller community, but that community trusts you, then you can be able to build more than someone with 1 million followers who just is inauthentic and doesn't work. And you know what I mean? Like it's about authenticity and engagement and relationship. That's how I work with all of my people that I'm affiliated with. And actually I'm going to do a live next week with a friend of mine, and we're going to be talking about influencers. We're going to be talking about business strategy and how companies are now allocating money to different things. So I'm going to be talking more about business that way, just kind of more around Instagram.
You know, I just popped in my head. Getting back to just you building your Beautycounter team and having those monthly, you're so well connected and you have so many resources that could be fun, is to bring on someone like you were just describing, a business strategy person that you know, or even like just mental health or, you know, stuff like that, to bring those people together and share their story, just like you do on here. But I'm just thinking out loud as it pertains to building a team and a culture, that could be something fun to do.
No, that's a great idea. And I think that we can talk more about that because it's all connected. I always talk about mental and physical health is completely connected. How we relate to other people is connected to our health. Like everything goes back to our health and it's all connected. So you can't take one thing and think it's not going to affect another thing. You know, so business is affected to stress, which is affected to your health, or it's affected, or if you're not building a business and you are financially struggling, like if that's connected to your health, like everything is beautifully connected, and you can either find a way to make it work and to build into your health, or it can just tear you down. And it's all about having the tools, right? You know better, you do better. And it's about having those tools. And Michelle and I are very excited to keep on talking about tools and to keep on giving you guys tools, and being a part of the team too. scrolling through and trying to talk. Being a part of the team, there's a lot that we can bring that I wouldn't even know. You know, there's just a lot of information that you can build in that team. Can you switch mentors? I feel bad for asking that. Who I'm under is such a gem, so maybe it's just me, but a lot seems to be about chemistry with who you work with. Ooh, touch on that, because that's actually a good, I've emailed you about this, Michelle. Remember when I said that somebody had emailed me asking if they can switch to me? And even within the company, unfortunately, there is stuff that happens, and kind of what do you do with that?
Yeah, that's tough. So there's a 6-month window. So let's just hypothetical situation. If someone asks this question, I'm assuming they're on someone's team. If you truly are just not happy with where you're at, you can call the company and get downgraded or, you know, removed as a consultant. You do have to wait 6 months to re-enroll with someone different. So that's the stipulation. Otherwise, you can imagine like people would be, you know, switching mentors all the time. And so there are policies in place for a reason. So it is possible, but there is that window that you do have to wait.
Okay.
But, and I'll
this is
say,
something.
Oh, no, go ahead.
This is something that I hadn't thought about before, because I'm obviously in love with you. And I'm so grateful and so happy to be a part of your team. You're like a complete badass business, but empathetic. Like, you have it all. I'm so honored to be on your team. But I never thought about that, because it is important who you choose as your mentor. You know, it's important. Yeah, for sure. Because of the chemistry, for sure. Because of, you know, just being able to jump on a call, or feeling like this is, because you're choosing, it's like friends or the family that you choose, right?
Totally.
So who you choose to work with has a huge impact on how your business grows, but also how you feel about yourself and your confidence, which grows your business as well.
Yeah, it's really important. Absolutely. And I will just say, for the gal who had asked about switching, you know, you may not mesh well or vibe well with your direct mentor, but remember, there's a whole team that above her that you could potentially partner with. So, you know, maybe reach beyond that person, and maybe there'll be someone else that you just work better with. So, you know, you don't always have to work directly with the person that brought you on. And that's, at least in the team culture that we've created, is that it's not just like, oh, I'm your mentor and you can't, it's the beauty. We're all collaborating together. And I mean, it's just being human, that you relate to different people in different ways. And so that's why I love our team culture, is that if you don't work well with me, then I can partner you with someone that you might resonate more with, you know? So,
well, and case in point with you and me, if people have already signed up under me and they're devastated because I'm not getting back to them, I've always directed them to you, and you've gotten back to them. And so, you know, again, I'll preface that I wasn't in the season to be taking care of people underneath me, which I will be more now. But yeah, there's always a person above or beside or whatever that you can connect with. Because absolutely, it's human. Like, if I just joined and my mother had just died, I'm not going to be able to have that much connection, or like be able to pour into the people of my team, which is where someone else, you know, picks up the slack and is able to come alongside and mentor more, or have more of a connection. So yeah, I hope that helps. Surfside Society.
Surfside Society.
If you're alive, you have an influence. I completely agree. Hi, Elle. Great to hear you too. Hi, my love. I must be super behind. We are all influencers. You're right, Elle. She has the most beautiful heart, most beautiful, passionate heart for sharing and influencing. Estaz, my sister. Hi. Oh, I know this is probably boring for people because I'm just scrolling through questions, but I don't want to miss anybody. Do you see anything on here, Michelle? I keep jumping in and out. Can I sell in Canada?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Canada is like, we've been in Canada for a couple of years, but there's so much opportunity in Canada. So yes, we need more of you in Canada.
Yeah, amazing.
And then Angie and I can take a road trip up to Canada and visit you, and we do our tour on the road, our Beautycounter business tour, and our RVs and our Airstream.
Our BC Airstream, and we can just quarantine wherever we are.
So when I bought my Sprinter van, I was a single female when I bought my Sprinter van. I ended up getting a van and a husband out of the deal. That's a story for another time. But my whole intention with buying the van was to take Beautycounter on the road, mountain bike everywhere, and work my Beautycounter business and get it wrapped in like Beautycounter, and it never happened.
I mean, but that's hilarious.
I mean, I still
can't. That's like a little teenage girl dream.
I wanted a hot pink racer stripe right down the center of it. It was, yeah. I had it all planned. I diaried about it. It was all, but
oh
never
my
happened.
Gosh, so. I love it. Okay. So we did answer a lot of these questions. Now that I'm seeing how much does it cost to get started, we answered all of those questions. So unless you have, wow, it's hard to scroll through some of these questions because I'm like, really? You're talking about sexual positions? This is not, you know, it's not this live. Arlen and I are going to talk about that later. This is not now.
It's a different time.
Don't interrupt. So yeah, this is hard to scroll through questions and then to still be doing this. So I don't know, maybe we can do another live. Like I'm going to do the swipe up links now.
Perfect.
And then maybe we'll just do even just more lives, like do a monthly even live on here. And then just kind of, I'll do a question box before so that we don't have to scroll through questions. But we can just answer the questions. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to record this so that it's a tool for you guys to kind of go back to on my website. And then I'll do a swipe up link to all of the ambitious blondes.
Perfect.
All of the ambitious blondes tools that you have.
Yes.
So thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn off the comments really quick so we can see your beautiful face. Thank you. I appreciate you so much, and all the education that you give and the tools, but also just your heart and your empathy of wanting to help me and wanting to help other women. And you've been a huge, not only asset in my life, but a huge friend. And I look forward to, like you said, getting to know you better when there's not new things happening all the time. Yeah. But congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you.
And the start of that, which I'm so excited about.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you and creating this space for us to get on here and share this with people. It's really important. So yeah. I feel like I'm just sitting in a living room chatting with you. This is great. An hour went by and I'm like, oh, this is wonderful.
I know. I looked at the time and I guess Instagram doesn't cut you off anymore.
Great.
I thought that they cut you off after an hour. So that maybe is a new thing, because Arlen just did his EMF talk and he went an hour and a half. So
yeah.
I mean,
great.
We could be here all day.
Yeah.
But we won't.
Oh my God,
I'll record this and I'll have this up on my website.
All right.
I love you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
have a good
afternoon
afternoon
for watching.
All right.
Bye.